What's up, everyone? Today we're going to be working on the block. Now, this is a very, very dirty block. With 200,000 miles on it, you would expect nothing less. So, we have a lot to do. We need to pull all the back apart, the top apart, and a lot of work down below. And we're going to really focus on getting those mains off using that tool we made in one of our last episodes. Now, if you can't tell, there is something else attached to this, and I'm very grateful for DePaula Chevrolet down in Albany for loaning me out this tool. It was really awesome of them. These are not cheap. Now, in a later episode, I will show you how to make one of these things, but I could not find the specifications anywhere online for this at all, like, period. So there's a bunch of them you can find online, and they're, as I said, they are not cheap. And if you're trying to do a budget build, a lot of things you're going to have to either go and borrow, make, or rent. And I'm very, very, very grateful for them for lending me this out. So if you're in the area and you're in the market of a Chevy, definitely check them out. They've always been nice to me in the past, and yeah, very grateful, very grateful. If you guys are interested in showing me showing how to make one of these things, make sure you comment down in the comment section down below. And if you guys are interested, I will make one. I took measurements and stuff like that so that I will be able to. Now, one big thing I want to say once again, thank you all for subscribing. And in this episode, comment down below what your current project car is or your dream project car, and next Saturday I will go automatically enter you guys in to win one of these. So all you have to do is just comment in the comment section down below, and I will send one of these out. I actually did this a few weeks ago, and I've been trying to get a hold of a couple of you guys. I'm going to put down in the comment section down below my email address and 3 of you guys that I just need an email from so that I can get those out to you guys. All right, so without further ado, let's get ahead, start tearing this down. Oh, right, and something that is very exciting that I recently discovered, and you can kind of get an idea when you're pulling this apart if it is or is not a third or fourth gen block. Generally, the rule of thumb is if it's before 05, it's a Gen 3. If it's after 05, it's a Gen 4. But during 05, as far as my research, it can be either or. Matter of fact, when I was looking this engine up online, I think I was on Jegs or something, I was looking for bits and pieces, they were saying that this would have been a Gen 3. But what have I discovered? Guys, we have a Gen 4, which means we have some serious potential here. Way more than I was even thinking. So we're going to be able to do a lot more without having to go and buy new rods, and we're saving a lot of money. And that's, I mean, guys, we got this engine for essentially, I mean, not free, because I did work for it, but you know, I didn't pay for this engine, and for it to be as awesome as it's got the perfect heads, it ends up being the perfect block, guys. So, all right, back to this. I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys on the tripod now. So we're gonna go ahead and remove these guides. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the fact that they're made out of plastic, but I'll tell you what, plastic doesn't generally distort over temperature, or doesn't expand or contrast because of temperature. Plastic, especially something like this, is going to end up holding up a lot better. So I really don't think that they made a mistake on this. I think they did a great job deciding this material. I also really like the fact that it's inside the head itself and not in a valley. So including inside here, it's not in a valley in the block too. So I really like the fact that they've designed the block this way. So anyways, we're going to go ahead take these apart, and we're gonna get brand new ones from the dealership. Actually, the same dealership that I got I'm borrowing the tool from. So we're gonna keep the bolts with it so we don't lose them, and then we're gonna go ahead and pull these the hydraulic rockers out. And realistically, it's just gonna be a quick teardown, and we'll see what we have. I think we're gonna be fine. I think once we get it from the back from the machine shop, we're gonna be happy as clams. So let's get to it. Now that we have them out, I gotta say, if you look at these things, there is barely any noticeable wear I physically can't feel anything, and I don't see anything. A little bit of discoloration, but I think that's more just the oil sitting on it. But 200,000 miles on it. This is not what I was expecting to see. There is a little bit of carbon buildup along the sides in some of the spots, and you do have some high spots that were worn down just from the 200,000 miles on it. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if we need to replace these. I'll do a little bit more research to determine if we should replace these or if we can just use the original ones that were in it. I don't see anything wrong with them, and they seem like they have really good mobility in them, so I don't know. I mean, it would definitely save us some money if we end up just reusing these, but I'll do some research before I make that determination. All right, so we have one of the knock sensors that have completely disintegrated, so I will have to come back to try taking that out at a later time. So we have a few more things to pull out, and then we're going to go ahead, index where this is sitting, and pull off the front plate, move over to the back side, and remove the back plate. All right, guys, let's keep chugging along. Though there's a chance we won't be reusing this harmonic balancer, there is still that possibility. I would like to switch over to the harmonic balancer that comes on the cars. I'd really like to do the whole front end of this block to be set up like the car, so we have a little bit more space. I know we have 1,000,000 miles in front of the engine already, but we're going to want all that real estate for turbos. So let's go ahead, and I like to use quite a bit of this stuff, and basically put a glob of it right on the actual harmonic balancer and on the bolt that retains it. Because I've watched a lot of people use like pens and stuff like that, or a marker. What I like to do is then scribe it with a metal scribe, which will be a lot more precise. So we let that thing dry a little bit and we'll come back to it. Now that we got the retention bolt out, you can see that I have my mark still on here. I'm going to do it again, but this time it will actually be on the crankshaft itself. Now the reason why I did it with this as well is what I'll do is I'm actually going to scribe it directly onto the actual steel so that when I sandblast this, it'll still be there. Now, the reason why I did it, and I'm going to do it again on the crankshaft, is because when I torque this down, I kind of want this to be back in the same exact spot or pretty darn close. So I know it's an extra step, but call me crazy. You wouldn't be the first. So the next thing, we're going to go ahead and do that again. Now that we have the line scribed all the way through, it's time to try out these Harbor Freight. Oh, I don't know if I have faith in these, but it's time to try out these Harbor Freight pulleys. Oh man, this is going to be fun. I don't know why they didn't just stick with the old-fashioned, at least, I don't know, Toyota has the ones that bolt right into the actual pulley itself, and then you just, you know, give her a good old pop her right off. I don't want to be here all night trying to take and put this thing on here. Ooh, there we go. Hold that for a second. I think I have to play with it. Okay guys, that was quite an interesting ordeal, but we have it. So what we're doing is looking for a wrench. Oh, there it is. Ratchet rather. This is the Harbor Freight. Let's see, I don't know what I did with the other. It is. So I picked this up for like 15 bucks. It was a pain in the neck to get it just right, but I did get it, hopefully. And so the next thing is we're going to go ahead and we're going to tighten this, and we're going to hopefully remove the harmonic balancer. Oh geez. Oh guys, so this is I guess a product review of the 3-jaw puller set. I don't think that's the way it's supposed to work. Great. Okay. Okay, guys. This is where we're at. This is the largest of the Harbor Freight ones. It is, the shaft's too small for the actual thing to grab it, and it's too big to really work. But this is what I have, and I have a feeling this setup right here will work. This is actually an impact driver, like an actual like 1/2-inch impact driver, and this has a nice chamfer that fits this little piece here, and we're gonna go ahead and see if this will work. So give me a second. All right, guys, so unfortunately, as you can tell, the harmonic balancer's still there. I was really hoping that the Harbor Freight harmonic balancers would work. Or not harmonic balancers, 3-jaw pullers. Like, well, that's now a 2-jaw puller. And as soon as I started putting pressure on the bigger one, which was actually, I thought this would at least would work because, well, it's bigger than what I really needed. But that immediately broke. So the verdict on these 2-jaw or 3-jaw, these 2-jaw pullers, because that's what they are now, is that they're total trash. And I'll bring them back to Harbor Freight and see what we can maybe get, like store credit or something. Anyways, so what we're gonna do to end this video up is we're gonna start pulling out the pistons because they need to come out, and that's all we can really do tonight. So we're going to do this very carefully and not let any of them hit the ground. And remember, traditionally you have whatever piston leads first, so it would be this one. That is number 1. So if you turn this over, oh, and the one cool thing is the mains are already marked, so we don't have to worry about that. But if we look at these are not marked, and I'm not going to put any marks in these, so I'm just gonna have to remember that where I put these in storage, they cannot be jostled around, they can't be moved. So I won't be marking these. Actually, you know what, I might quickly mark one of these bolts, because ultimately I'm gonna replace these with some ARP studs, so, or not studs, ARP bolts. Anyways, let's quickly mark them, take them out, set them over there. This is something that I'm sure you've heard a million times, but you need to hear it 1,000,001 times. The connecting rods are made in one piece, and when they're actually physically split, it's very specific how it's fractured. So it's less of a split and more of a fracture. So when you put these back together, they have to go back together the way they were split from the manufacturer. If you don't, you're going to have a bad time, and you don't want to have a bad time. So don't put them back together wrong. Mark them, whatever. Now, the other thing is, what we're going to do here is we're going to take the driver's side of every single one of these out, and we're going to bring it over to, it's longer than I thought it would be. I'm going to take it out. Oh, why aren't you coming out now? Oh, they might not come out all the way. No, they got to come out. Ah, come on. There we go. Okay. So, what we're going to do... Oh, okay, so they're kind of captured. We're going to bring it over here. Set it on the vise. We're going to move that right out of the way. Like so. And you can actually see in the light how it's all pitted and everything. That's not pitting. That is how it's fractured. So, yeah, remember that. But we're going to take the bolt on the driver's side, which would be this one right here, and we're going to go ahead and mark it with a number 1, and then all the way through to the 8th cylinder. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to do that to every single one of them. Now that we have all the actual pistons out, we're going to go ahead. Oh, she did try to move. When you're doing something like that, make sure you go ahead and make sure this thing doesn't spin on you. It's going to be a bad time. We're going to turn her over. Oh, that hurt. Forgot this one has those 2 little upright bar things. It's just going to leak a little. All right. Let's take a quick look, a gander, at our cylinders. Look at that, guys. I don't think... I mean, I'll still have them hone it, seeing how we're going to end up installing new rings on it anyways. But they look fantastic. I still can't believe, like, we're going to put new bearings in here. But, go underneath this light. I mean, she does have some wear on it. She really does. And you can actually see the difference in the material. So, when I had oil on it, I didn't think it was actually that bad. I mean, it's not terrible, just not as good as I thought it was. A little bit worse than I was expecting. But probably would have kept driving for like another 100, 200,000 miles with these. But putting a lot of power through it, yeah, they would have failed. But that's all I can do tonight. And I only bled a little bit, so that's good. Let's spin that back around. Oh yeah, look at this. I think these are still good. I don't see why we can't reuse these. I probably will buy new ones of these because I don't really want to throw these into the lathe and polish these. I think it's just going to be better off buying new ones. So we'll keep those in order just in case though. But guys, these look fantastic. We'll get these cleaned up. Get these rings taken out, put new rings in. We're gonna have to space the rings a little bit different because we are going to be putting a little bit more air into these engines, or into this engine, than was originally designed to take. So yeah, and we still need to find a way of getting this off. I'm gonna see if I can't find a puller at one of the local stores that I can borrow or rent or whatever. But yeah, Harbor Freight ones don't work. And if you get the Harbor Freight one with the little spinny bit or the little uprights here, yeah, watch your fingers on that. All right, as far as the crankshaft goes, I don't see any excessive wear on the crankshaft. I don't think we're going to need machining on that. I think we'll be a-okay on that, as long as we don't warp it taking it out, which, as long as we do it the way we're supposed to, we won't have that problem. But guys, I think I am absolutely astonished. I mean, look at this. You should have seen the bearings that came out of the 220,000 mile 1UZ FE engine that I'm putting in the Supra. These are not bad. The bearings in the 1UZ were so bad. I had gone through, well, I had gotten the engine, oh, pardon me. I had a bit of a coughing fit. Don't worry, I cut it out for you. So the bearings came out of that engine. The engine was supposedly 150,000 miles, turned out, or 120,000, sorry. He was missing an extra 100,000 miles. But you could see the kind of copper layer, then the nickel, and then it went through like 4 layers. Those bearings were absolutely no good. If I put any kind of power down, I guarantee you I would have spun one of those bearings and the engine would have been junk. But that's why I always pull them apart before putting any power to it, because you really don't know what you're going to encounter. Realistically, this probably could have made several passes with just as it was. But I don't want it to be that kind of vehicle. I want it to be not a daily driver, but I'd like to drive it on weekends and nice sunny weekdays and stuff like that. So we want to make sure we're going to get a lot of mileage out of here. So next step, we got to pull the crankshaft out. Once the crankshaft's out, we're going to go ahead and, I don't know, I'm going to talk to the guys down at the machine shop and see if they can remove all the old rusty scale off of this, clean it, make sure all the oil passageways are good, and hone it, plane the surface of where the head gasket goes right there. And while I was planning on doing it tomorrow, but when I drop the tool part back to the dealer, I am going to see if I can't order 4 of these, or if they have 4 of these in stock. But I mean, they're all the same part number, so it doesn't matter. They all go in the same exact spot, so, or in any spot, rather. But anyways, that's all I have for today. It's getting really, really late. It's actually the same night when I broke the things. I just kind of realized I could take the pistons out. So this will be part 1 of 2, taking the short block, or turning it into a short block. So yeah, I'm really excited with just the fact that we don't need a new crankshaft. The reluctor wheel passed the test, and with my eyes, which are obviously not micrometers or anything special, they do look fine. I don't know how well you can like see, but I don't know, they look good. I think we're fine. I think our pistons are good. Every single one of our rods look fantastic. We have a Gen 4 block, which means we could put a lot more power down, and for a lot less money. And I love that. I love that. So I know I'm going to look for another, what do you call it? Donor truck for another project, or short project. Once again, one of those monsters of the month thing. But I want to make sure it's another one of these Gen 4s, just in case we end up wanting to do something a little crazy down the road. We'll give ourselves that kind of opportunity. But remember, comment down below what your dream project car is, and or what your favorite, or what your current project car is. That's it. Current project car or dream project car, so I can get you out one of these some assembly required. And in the comment section down below, actually, while I was filming this, one person actually did reach out to me, so I have 2 people that I am looking for emails from. So I will leave their names in the comments, or the description section down below. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe. You don't have to be a subscriber to win the sticker. I do really appreciate if you are a subscriber, but this is just for all you guys that are just supporting even by watching, and I really, really appreciate it. So I will pick that Saturday. So I will, what is it? I will respond to one of your guys' comments with a comment saying to email me. If that makes any sense. All right? You have yourselves a wonderful night. I hope you guys are staying warm and are working on your projects, even if it's just a little bit here and there. Ah, I really wish, that's the one complaint I have about this. They have really nice ones that, you know, you kind of crank. I really wish I had one of those. That wasn't bad. A little bit of blood. So just be careful, guys. It could have been a lot worse. I could have just broke a finger or something dumb. But fortunately I didn't. I don't know. I find something very relaxing about building engines. And right now I have a little bit of cleaning up to do. I got to put these in a box. And like I was saying earlier, I marked each one of one side right there. You can't really see it very well, but this is number 7. So I just gave her a tap with a number 7. And there you go, guys. Oh, and hold on a second. Unfortunately, I don't have a junk piston from my 1UZ FE, but the 1UZ FE is probably a perfect representation of what an intermediate size between the LS and the 7M GTE. So for you guys that like kind of perspective, the 7M GTE is a 3.0 liter displaced straight 6 engine from the 1989 Toyota Supra, or the Mark III Supra in general. I personally like the 7M more than I like the 1JZ because of cost for horsepower gain. If you're going to do like a straight 6 swap and you're going to be doing, you'd go to the 2JZ, though I don't really see a purpose going with the 1JZ. It's 1.5, it's substantially smaller than the 7M. The problem with the 7M is the head gasket, which you can overcome. But if you want power by just displacement in a modern engine, just look at that LS engine compared to a 3.0 liter straight 6 engine. Look at that displacement, guys. Holy crap. Not only do you get 2 extra cylinders, but just, oh my God. But yeah, oh, look at the carbon buildup on these rings. So yeah, you know, 200,000 miles. This was actually out of the Supra that's outside. That engine was cylinder 2 and 1. The water jacket broke I should say, the head gasket blew between 1 and 2, and the water jacket obviously then leaked into the cylinders, and then it sat for 12 years, and that block was junk. I actually scrapped that block. And these pistons are junk, so anyways, because that was actually I have a lot of junk. Stuff that I'm like, oh, I should probably save, but realistically it's junk. But yeah, look at that, guys. Huge, absolutely huge. So unless one of the big companies wants to sponsor us and give us some pretty crazy parts, we're going to go ahead and stick with the OEM bits and pieces we have here. Replace a couple bits and pieces as we go. But that's it, guys. I'm going to bed. We don't need no stinking table. I don't know. I love pulling apart engines. I know I've said it over and over again, but there's just something about it. And I'm really glad they went over to this style compared to like where you have the open valley. I really do dig this. I mean, you do still have your oil return areas, and as far as I can see, the casting is really good. I see a little bit that I might clean up. I probably will. I'll probably clean up a little bit, but 90% of this stuff back there, you can definitely see where I'm going to go ahead and deburr this area. But I don't really see too much casting residue that needs to be cleaned up. I actually think we're pretty good. We have a few spots here and there, but all right, I swear this is it. I'm going to bed now. I could stare at this thing all night. Especially looking for any imperfections. And there is very few imperfections in this casting that I can see. I mean, when we get it cleaned up, maybe we'll find some more, but when we get it cleaned up, that's it. We're not going to deburr anymore. Because once I start deburring and everything, you're going to get little flakes of steel everywhere. And then if you get it all cleaned out and then you do that again and you start putting parts back in, you're going to have a bad time. So I really love these water jackets. I really do. I can't wait to see what this thing looks like cleaned up. I think it's going to be gorgeous. You guys are probably already gone. But for you guys that just like looking at engines, I think you might be able to understand why I like just staring at it. This is nasty. Also, look what happened. The dipstick is stuck in it. I couldn't get it out and I accidentally broke it. So I'm going to have to get a new dipstick. Okay, I swear. Have yourselves a wonderful night. And until the next time, take care.